What? Why are you shaking your head?
You're welcome. And here we go, a Wednesday edition of Hump Day with Hansen here at FantasyPoints.com. Our guy, Thomas Tipple, is on the other side of the glass producing this here live stream, and we are ready to go here for week number 10 as soon as I repost the link here. Takes me a little bit of time there. But we're ready to rock and roll. Let's get right into it. And I'm going to try and barrel through very, very quickly all the matchups and, very, very early look at it. I know everyone wants their answers on Wednesday. It's a little early. It always does remind me of something an old boss of mine told me when I was in high school working at a pizzeria. And if he caught me standing around, he would say, do something, anything, even if it's wrong. And people sometimes, they just want, give me the answer to my line of question early in the week. I don't care if it's wrong. I just need to know. So it is a little early in the week, but we do have some thoughts, no doubt. Cincinnati at Baltimore kicks it off tomorrow night. I actually don't expect T. Higgins to play. I haven't seen anything disputing that, which of course is good news for Mike Gesicki. Baltimore they're improving, but I think they're obviously a very, very good matchup overall. They just made a trade for a corner, of course. But I think we're looking at a pretty good game here. Zay Flowers does have a tough individual matchup, so we might see someone else of note here for Baltimore getting it done. Maybe this could be a tight end game here for Mark Andrews. Pretty good schematic matchup for him. It is looking positive for Zay Flowers, but again, he'll see a lot of Mike Hilton, who has been unbelievably stingy, giving up 0.11 fantasy points per route run. That is weird because he's always been good, but man, he's like a lockdown guy toward the end of his career. Giants, Panthers, it's a good matchup overall for the Giants. I mean, if Malik Neighbors can't get it done here, then we're in big, big trouble. So good spot for Danny Dimes, even though schematically it doesn't look unbelievable. But yeah, it should be the Neighbors day here. And of course, Tyrone Tracy, our guy, Thomas's guy, pretty much has the job now, and a very good matchup, obviously, against Carolina. They get run on pretty much every single week. And then for the Panthers, Bryce Young has been better. Xavier Legette getting it done. He scores. He's their top guy. I don't think this is a particularly good matchup. Giants are actually not bad lately. I mean, they can be had if you have a good number one receiver. But, Terry McLaurin last week scored 2 tutties, but he didn't get a lot of yards. But yeah, the Giants D is not bad right now. They do have a good pass rush as well. Legette should see a lot of Deonte Banks. I guess he's back inserted in the lineup. You could certainly use Legette if you need him, but probably not. This is not a Wan'Dale Robinson game. This is, to me, Neighbors plus Tracy and end story, basically. And we'll see about Jonathan Brooks. I mean, geez, he's got to play soon, right? They did not end up trading Miles Sanders, which is a mild surprise. New England at Chicago, not a particularly good matchup for Drake May. Schematically, I don't see a ton to like here, although not bad for Hunter Henry. Not great for Demario Douglas. Yeah, look, at the end of the day, I don't really trust Drake May in this matchup, but dude's running all over the place and getting fantasy digits that way. So I think keep using him. It's a little bit of a cheat code here. Let's be honest. Not a lot of tape on him either. That helps. Learning on the job, running around a lot, still opening up the offense though. It's like, yeah, I don't think he's totally ready, but he's got pretty high-end physical skills and tools. Lowercase Josh Allen, basically. And Josh Allen came into the league with accuracy and consistency issues, which are probably still, definitely still there, but he's also a baller because he's got extreme physical tools. Now, I don't know where the hell we are with Caleb Williams and the Bears offense. It does obviously seem week to week. I will say it we do have it as a positive schematic matchup. Maybe that's because they play a lot of man. They do have good receivers. They don't have a great pass rush. So, I mean, this does look like a decent spot, at least for Caleb Williams, but, not playing well. So it's not easy to put your faith in Caleb Williams. You got DJ Moore, going to see a little bit of Christian Gonzalez, who's still beatable, but he's still also good. Very difficult, man. You got 3 really good receivers and not a lot of production to go around. Roma Dunze seems to be the guy with the momentum right now, at least working with Caleb. Bears get rid of Khalil Herbert, not that he was much of a factor. Maybe a little more Roshan Johnson, because maybe DeAndre Swift. I just don't think DeAndre Swift can bring it for an entire season, So he's been bringing it the last 5 weeks, but I think we're slowing down a little bit. Bills, Colts, certainly a very good matchup for the Bills overall. Really good spot for Kincaid. Like, if Kincaid can't do it here, then I give up almost. Khalil Shakir, we'll see a lot of Kenny Moore. That may not be the greatest matchup, but, dude gets 4 for 40 minimum every single week. We don't show it as a good schematic matchup here for Amari Cooper. So, that's the problem with the Bills. They could, freaking... what's his face? Mac Hollins could score, or Dawson Knox. That's a little bit of the problem here. Not a ton of volume other than Shakir, really. Amari Cooper, we'll see what he does in game 3. Certainly a good spot for Amari overall. And then Bro Flacco, I think it's a better matchup for Joe Flacco. Josh Downs all day. They are an interior funnel of sorts. They don't have a very good tight end. So Josh Downs all day in this one. Bills do have a pretty decent pass rush, but they're not a suffocating defense like the Vikings are and were last week against Joey Flacco. But yeah, all day Josh Downs in this one. And certainly James Cook is still the man. You're looking good there. Indy. And look, it's a good matchup for Jonathan Taylor. Like, he should bounce back. Indy, Buffalo's been pushed around up front. They're giving up production pretty much every single week, and on the season, that's been a deficiency. Very, very prevalent. They're friendly. I'm looking at some data here. Yeah, they're very, very friendly. So it's a good spot for Johnny Taylor. Minnesota, who shut down Johnny Taylor at Jacksonville. This game is actually... I'm actually considering going to this damn game because it's pretty close to me where I am now in Georgia. Probably not. I have never in my life been to a regular season Vikings game, if you can believe that. I've been a fan for, 45 years or more. I've been to a bunch of playoff games. They haven't gone well. 3 straight NFC title games, but good spot for Sam Darnold. They've been playing man. Good spot for Addison again. I did like him last week. Jefferson should crush. We're looking good. It's a great matchup overall against a weak defense. Tough spot for Trevor Lawrence. And this entire passing game, not the greatest schematic matchup as well. I don't know where the hell we are with Lawrence at this point. You're not starting with much confidence. I roll with him last week, but I have him as a backup. I actually liked him this year as a backup, as a QB2. I took him in the FPI on SiriusXM, and I started him last week, but I'm back to Purdy. He's my starter. Brian Thomas, that was rough last week, right? Not 100%. And I don't know what you do. You got to keep rolling with him here, hope for the best. Schematically, it is barely a positive matchup there schematically. Freaking Evan Ingram coming up somewhat small, but he's still getting it done for fantasy. I'm just pissed about how the hell does he not get that prop last week, given the game script and the targets and all that. Unbelievable. But yeah, good spot for the Vikings. Proceed with caution with your Jaguars. Broncos, Chiefs. I'm still not a Bo Nix believer, but the running is massive, of course. Not the greatest matchup here, but let's check the schematics on this. Yeah, negative for Bo, so he'll probably have a rougher game. He's clearly shown that when the matchup looks good on paper schematically, he'll play a little bit better. and then vice versa. But it is a good spot maybe for Cortland Sutton because they play a lot of man. But the problem there is they could put Trent McDuffie on him, so I can't say I like him. And Javonte is another tough spot for him. I'm worried about Audric Estime for sure. Patty Mahomes, I was just talking with Thomas. We had a one little disagreement on Mahomes. I went Mahomes and he went Stafford. I guess Stafford, got 2? Mahomes got 3. I was feeling pretty good about it, if for no other reason than 2 weeks ago, the guy was on pace for 17 touchdowns. I'm like, that's not happening, guys. It's just not. And since then, he's got 5 tutties in 2 games. So I said going into week 8, maybe even here on this stream, I think I did. I'm like, dude's thrown 20 from here on out. He's got 5. We're a quarter of the way there already in 2 games. So regression is real, and it's going to continue to hit here, I think. It's a good schematic matchup, even though it's a tougher one. It's still a pretty good schematic matchup, probably because they play a lot of man. Xavier Worthy, just like I said in the preseason, I got plenty of things wrong. Not that one, though. I'm like, I'm not seeing it. Even Tyreek Hill wasn't Tyreek Hill in his first year. It's different than Rashee Rice. Rashee Rice is a volume guy who sits underneath a soft spot in the zone and catches the ball and runs with it, turns around and runs, basically. That's not Worthy, basically. But D-Hop, man, looking really good. I felt very good about it since that happened. I know I've passed that along and, wish I went a little heavier on him on this week, but had to see it. Now we've seen it. He's going to be really good. I mean, he's going to be a red zone guy. Like, they're dying for red zone guys. There you go. Best ball skills, probably still in the National Football League. By the way, I did list Kareem Hunt as a trade. Not if you need him, keep rolling with him, but I do believe we're only 2 to 3 weeks or games away from Isaiah Pacheco. I'm not totally buying it. He has looked really good, but my point is, it's very surprising. Can he do it for 12 weeks or 15, whatever? I think he might start slowing down a little bit and or get hurt. Come on. The guy was kind of out of the league for like a year, 2 years, kind of just barely hanging in there, sitting on his couch, and all of a sudden now he's going to be great for like 3 months in a row. I'm not totally buying it, but he does look unbelievable. There's no doubt about it. He's bringing it, and they block for the run very well. Atlanta at New Orleans. Man, Falcons are going to crush. Again, they'll do whatever the hell they want to do. They just traded away Marshawn Lattimore. Darnell Mooney, man, he cannot be stopped. He is a stud right now, and I love it. I absolutely love it. For all the grief I've taken, it's nice to get confirmation of what you're seeing with a guy. The guy's always open. The cat is what I used to call him because that first step is nasty. Let's take a look at where he is right now, because I had him ranked like 60 spots over, like 5 rounds over his ADP. Not that I was expecting this bonanza per se, but he was just egregiously. He is a wide receiver 1 on the season right now. That is crazy. Of course, Brian Thomas is as well. Now, on a point per game basis, what the hell is he there? He may not be a wide receiver 1 on a per game basis. He's not. But he's a very good wide receiver 2 on a per game basis. 14.4 PPR points, same as Brian Thomas, by the way. There's a guy I did not think would do this well. Josh Downs right there. Damn. Even Jackson Smith and Jigba. Look at him. Wow. 14 points a game. That's not bad. Anyways, back to the task at hand there. And the Saints, Alvin Kamara, and that's it. It's Cedric Wilson, Mason Tipton, Marquez, Valdez, Scantling. You can't use anyone here. It's brutal. We'll see about Olave, but I'm not expecting it. That was absolutely brutal last week. He would have done well. Kamara, though, I did love that one last week, that prop, and that thing easily crushed. He's unbelievable. I traded Christian McCaffrey away in a Superflex high-stakes dynasty 2 months ago. Someone offered me Kamara and Steph Diggs. I'm like, you know what? I'll do it. Kamara's going to outlast McCaffrey, clearly. Like, who's going to be more productive from today until the end of time? I would say it's Alvin Kamara, even though he's older, because he's got better DNA and he plays hurt. The guy's unbelievable. Should make the Hall of Fame at this point, another year or so. San Fran at Tampa. Hey, great spot for Purdy and the passing game. Tampa's secondary is weak, as we learned and saw on display on Monday night. I think Debo is looking pretty good, although schematically not fantastic. I see it's not the greatest schematic matchup, but personnel-wise, I think we're going to be fine. And we shall see. I assume Jawan Jennings will return, so that is a little more confusing with Ricky Pearsall in the mix. And we got to see about Jalen McMillan. Bad schematic matchup for him. I was a little surprised he didn't play last week, but not the greatest schematic matchup for Baker. We didn't like Baker last week, but he did get it done, though, right? I mean, he did get it done. I mean, well, not really. 200/2 isn't great. Okay, there you go. I wasn't feeling him, and I'm sure, was not a top 12 quarterback last week. I didn't even check that. But man, I can't really back Sterling Shepard. It's Otten or bust, basically, and very disappointed the running backs last week in the passing game, but they'll be back. And of course, Rashad, especially if San Fran gets off, he'll have to be the hurry up back, so probably catch 4 balls. Pittsburgh at DC. DC is playing man now, so I that is a good schematic matchup for George and Russ and everyone, really. I think this will be a little higher scoring than people think. I haven't looked at the total yet, but I think the Steelers are okay, even though DC's been very good against the run. How about Najee, man? He's low-key crushing it. I was out here a month ago saying to trade for him. I know it looks scary, but I like the defense. I have all year. I'm like, all year I was on this, like, defense is going to be really good. Arthur Smith, come on. So they're going to run the rock plenty. And I think Najee will get volume in this one, and it could be a good Jalen Warren game if DC puts up a fight, obviously. Big test for Jaden Daniels, where Terry McLaurin's going to probably see shadow coverage from Joey Porter, so we got to pivot from McLaurin, at least in the propage world. It is a good schematic matchup for Zachary Ertz, but I'm kind of like feeling like maybe sell Zach Ertz if you've been rolling with him. We did see Ben Sinnott last week. Could be another Noah Brown game if you need Noah Brown. Tennessee at the Chargers. Don't have much to say about Tennessee other than obviously keep rolling with Pollard, and Calvin Ridley absolutely has a chance because they're paying him a lot. He is their best receiver. He is getting targets. So can't ask for much more than that. Quarterback play we know is not going to be great. Herbert, I think they're evolving into a little bit more pass happy. Why wouldn't you when the strength of your team is your receiving core? Not the greatest matchup in really any way. Charger D is very, very respectable. We could get Tajay Spears back, by the way. I think Pollard is a viable sell. Not that you want to sell because, he's getting the ball and producing, but just from the perspective, will his value get any higher than it is right now? No, I don't think it will. So on that note, it's not a horrible time. If you can afford it, if you're maybe weaker receiver, not a bad time to trade Pollard, I think. Schedule is not great either. I looked that up as well. Next one, Jets, Cardinals. Nothing stands out here. I mean, it's certainly a fine matchup for Rodgers. I'm sure, and the receivers, the 2 studs, I'm sure it'll be all right. 235/2. Adams going to see our guy Max Melton. How about this? Unbelievable. Our guy Max Melton is just like up against like superstars. Holding his own. 0.25 fantasy points per route run. And he's seen Tyreek Hill. And this week he's going to see Devontae Adams. My man is up against 4 Hall of Famers. And I always go back to watching him running around a high school field when he was 13 years old. He looked like he was 8 years old. He looked like he was easily the smallest guy in the field, but he also stood out because he's a thoroughbred. Kyler Murray still stinks, still hard to trust. Not the greatest matchup, certainly, obviously, but schematically it's not bad for like Marvin Harrison and Kyler, but Harrison's going to see a lot of Sauce Gardner, who's still stingy. It's tough. It's tough, but it's counterintuitive. He'll probably end up Kyler having a little bit better of a game than most people think. Last week was a dud though, big time dud. Trey McBride. We'll say about C.J. Mosley. By the way, that's big. They'll try and run the rock a ton because you can run on the Jets, especially when Mosley's not in. Eagles, Cowboys. The Cowboys are dead. I don't know about effort going forward. They all know they're dead. Got a bunch of old heads who stink coaching their offense and defense, and it shows. And I think they're done. I mean, trading for Jonathan Mingo. What the hell are you guys doing? I have absolutely no idea, but I know that I like to. Thomas, you have any thoughts there?
I was just gonna say, let's not forget Dak is out now, like possibly on the IR. Yep. With his hamstrings. It's over. Like it could be over for CeeDee Lamb. I'm trading CeeDee Lamb away. Like in redraft, if somebody wants to buy and you need wins, I'm trading him away in redraft. Dynasty, I'm buying because it's negative news, but I want to note with the Mingo thing, one thing that we talked about last night on the show is that players that have years on a cheap rookie contract left are always more expensive. They'll when we say like, oh, look what Deontay Johnson went for, look what DeAndre Hopkins went for, how is he cheaper? Right. It's simply because of his contract. Deal. And
I know.
Brett Whitefield actually really liked this move. I was scrolling through my Twitter feed and I saw Brett Whitefield pop up as the only person who didn't hate this simply because the way he was used in Carolina. So that's probably more why. Also, Tolbert sucks. He had 2 good games to start the year and he's tailed off, and Brandon Cooks is cooked. This would have made more sense if Dak wasn't hurt and the team wasn't toast. But overall, I said last night, I put 12% of my fab left to pick up Mingo because maybe, I don't know, maybe. I know he's a meme. No, Carolina is terrible.
I don't disagree with basically everything you said there. I still think it's just a bad look, and the compensation was a little too much.
If it was a 5th, would you be more okay with it?
Like a 6th or something, but it's a 4th, right? That's 4th. That's kind of like a big drop off after that 4th.
Better or worse than Dotson for a 3rd? Because that looks like the worst wide receiver trade of the league.
Yeah. Dotson made a big play last week. He was all proud of himself. Now, real quick, I do understand it. I kind of thought it through, and I kind of liked Mingo coming out. We all thought he had a little Debo in him. Mm-hmm. He could, in theory, be a good fit for the current game, like Debo is. I've actually interviewed Jonathan Mingo. He's a pretty serious guy. I like that. I talk with him about the pride of Old Miss receivers. I actually think he played with DK and AJ Brown for a year. He learned a lot from those guys. So I understand it on that level, but it's a bad look. You gave up future compensation for an underachieving player on a team that's really underachieving, whose quarterback is probably going to be out. Overall, I still think it's kind of dumb, but I do understand the vision long term. Cheap contract, former 2nd round pick. And I have been big on that too. Like, the Patriots do this a lot. You notice they sign a lot of former number 1 pick busts. Mm-hmm. Because there's a reason that these dudes were drafted early in the first place. Philip Dorsett, for example, comes to mind. So they've done that. I do that. Like, I always do that.
I'll say this too in regards with the Patriots. We talked about Boutte. He's a guy that's highly touted through his entire collegiate career at LSU. Completely falls off the map for multiple off-field issues and looking kind of like a slog on field. And then now he's their most targeted receiver since Drake May took over. He's the most targets. He's more productive than Pop Douglas since May took over. in terms of like first reads, and like Douglas has scored more points, but overall, he's just another guy that they picked up that was discarded into the trash can. And I really think the Cowboys are trying to do the same thing. I think they just did it in the worst manner, considering last year they sent a fourth away for Trey Lance, who's not even going to play now that Dak's hurt. It's going to be Cooper Rush and not Trey Lance. So why trade last year?
By the way, I thought that I thought that was a decent trade, actually. I'm not in the room with I'm not in the room. I mean, because it's different when you're talking a quarterback here.
I agree.
Like I'm willing to risk it a little bit more in case the quarterback pops. Yeah. And I mean, Trey Lance has got a ton of physical ability here. I mean, come on. And he's freaking 24 years old.
I'll say
yeah.
In the preseason, he threw 5 interceptions and he scored like 30 fantasy points after
right.
interceptions.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's my filter, Thomas. I'm not really talking great NFL play. I'm talking fantasy here and offense. Yeah.
I know. Yeah, for sure. It just makes that trade look worse now that they're not playing him. They got the chance to play him. Right. They've had him all year, and they're choosing not to play him. So now you've burned 2 4th-round picks, which, if you remember, that's the round they found Dak Prescott. They find 4th-round talents in Dallas often, and now they're going back-to-back years without it. That's to me what makes it look really bad.
Well, here's the thing. Here's one thing that I don't know if people really bring up, not to go off on a tangent or anything like that, but not to pump up. I know I'm annoying with my LA Dodgers, but they really are the best organization in baseball.
Yep.
They have incredible coaches. They're dialed in, man. Their positioning of their players is always spot on. They take dudes. Who is the guy that the Dodgers had 2 years ago? Anderson? Like, who is this guy? I have no idea who this guy is. I'm going to look it up. And he was in the All-Star game.
Mm-hmm.
My point is, if Trey Lance was brought in by a good organization that actually had good coaches, he might be ready to play now. But the coaches in Dallas suck.
Yeah,
they suck. I mean, that's a problem.
Yeah, it is. It's a terrible problem.
But yeah, Cowboys. I will say, Cooper Rush. Did you see Graham Barfield's tweet? He does have a little history of jiving a little bit with Lamb.
Okay.
And I will also say, there's some positive data
as the trade bait.
Yeah,
I would be using that to go and get an elite player, but Yeah.
And my guy Jake Ferguson, he'll be all right. He'll be open. He'll catch freaking 4 to 5 balls every week. They won't be on good design plays or anything because God forbid we do that. But he'll still get like 9 points a game for you. But man, what a buzzkill! It's like leave it to the Cowboys. The running backs are back in the National Football League, and they're like, nah, we're good. No, let's move on to.
But I will say one last thing. If you doubted Rico Dowdle, still go out and buy at his escalated price. Because what do we know when a backup quarterback comes in? Check downs to both tight ends and wide receivers. His usage is about to get even better. Rico Dowdle's about to smash down the stretch, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, if they're not going to play Zeke, if Zeke is pissed. Zeke was like a model citizen on a bad Patriots team last year. Yet he goes to Dallas, and all of a sudden, was he late for something and got benched? I think he might see the writing on the wall.
I think it's more his role.
Yeah. Oh, he's pissed.
Dalvin coming up,
right,
and playing that game, and I think that's more what it is. Yeah. And sorry to say, buddy, but the NFL is not kind to slowed knees on running backs, and he's kind of the poster child for that right now.
Detroit at Houston. This is man. The schematical data looks phenomenal here for Goff, Laporta. Here's another one, Laporta, and Amon-Ra. I keep trying to isolate Laporta as a buy low. He had one big game, but it's unbelievable. They're too good. They don't freaking throw the ball. So when Jared Goff's completing 17 balls pretty much every week, like we're screwed. Good luck with playing over the catch total prop with Amon-Ra. Like he might get there. I think he probably got there last week, but man, that is a problem. They're too good, and they're playing pretty well on defense overall. So the running game, O-line, it's unbelievable. Yeah.
Have you seen the stat for Amon-Ra St. Brown where if you look at his 2023, his air yard share was 28.6%, air yards 31.5%, and his air yards per target was 7.75. In 2024, his target share is 27.6. He has a 30.8% air yard share, and his air yards per target is 7.4. His workload is damn near the same in terms of his piece of the pie. But the pie is now basically the 2019 Baltimore Ravens because of how the running game is operating and how good that defense is. So you're right on track. When I saw that statistic this week, I was like, I've got to drop this on Hump Day because it is insane. He's really not that different. Just his upside is nuked because the team is so good to a point. They're throwing laterals to Penei Sewell and have tackles out there playing the X position. Like it's kind of insane.
It really is. Like Jared Goff right now is on pace to throw like 440 passes here. Like let's see here, like 211. I mean, that is.
I'm telling you, if you look up the 2019 Baltimore Ravens offense and what Lamar Jackson did in the passing game, that's what Goff is going to put up right now at this pace because they don't have to do anything else. They have two absolute juggernauts in the backfield helping Goff to a next level. You can't stop them. Well, I thought they were going to turn into pumpkins in the rain, John, and apparently they sat there and practiced with wet footballs all week. They're into it.
Yeah. Well, they're the best team in the NFL. There's no doubt.
They are.
You know what? I'm rooting for them. As a Vikings fan, you think I hate the Lions? No, I love the Lions. I mean, they have given me great pleasure over the last 50 years because they've sucked so badly and they're easy to beat. So I thank them, and I would love for them to win the Super Bowl. Honestly, I've actually talked to Dan Campbell one-on-one. I looked deep into his eyelids, and I believe Dan Campbell. I believe in everything he says and is about. Like that is not BS. That is actually for reals. And I've been saying that for 3 years now, and it's showing. It's showing. Like that's why they respond so well, because Dan Campbell is a real one, no doubt. And he's a pretty special guy. He really is. Miami, I did make fun of him, by the way. Full disclosure. When he first got hired, I'm like, all right, that's a bit over the top. I did. But a year later, I was able to talk with him. And I was like, man, I believe this man. I really do. Anyway, Miami at the LA Rams. Well, inside funnel is kind of what they've been, right? Tough. Actually, outside funnel. They've been tough on the inside, so this should be wheels up for Tyreek, I would think. And
if he doesn't smash this week, it's over.
Yeah, I mean, he I don't know about over. I mean, he did all right last week, right? It wasn't that bad.
Yeah, it's just when you have when I say over, I mean Tyreek Hill was an every week he could go for 150. If now we're looking at how good is the matchup for Tyreek?
Right.
That's a bad sign.
You're right. Like the Tyreek just repping you for 25 plus fantasy points, like that's going to be maybe once every 6 weeks.
That's
like
what
going
I'm saying.
forward.
Yeah.
As opposed to every freaking week. Like some of the healthy games with Tua lately here. But yeah, I assume Puka is going to be all right and all that. Cooper Kupp could see a lot of Jalen Ramsey. But yeah, I think this is going to be a little bit of a bonanza here with some points scored in this one. So that's it. We went way too long on that. So let's go to the questions and we'll wrap-a-roni. Let's see if we can get the hell out of here by 11:15. I think that's fair.
All right, let's try to get it done. Mark Farmer says, "Good morning, Guru and Tommy T. 6 point per passing touchdown." He's looking at Justin Herbert. He's got great hair. He does. Or Matthew Stafford. He's looking ahead. Have Love. Hold on to Herbert in case Love continues to struggle. Question mark. So this is a pickup type thing, not a start type thing. You want Herbert or Stafford moving forward?
Let's take a look at the schedules. I think Herbert's looking pretty good. You're saying he's got gray hair?
He does. Yeah, he's had great hair his entire career. He does have great hair. He did cut it though at one point, so we got to knock a
wait a second. Are you did you say gray hair or great hair?
Great.
Oh, okay.
I mean, his previous coaching staff that he had might have given him gray hair, but no, right. Great.
I once photographed Justin Herbert. He was walking right by me in Indy, and I'm pretty sure I did say that to him. 90% sure as he was walking by. I was like, great pick and a good hair league. Great pick. Number one pick in a good hair league. The opposite of Drew Brees. But let's take a look here. Yeah, no, we actually did on serious good hair drafts. You know, that's a challenge. You know, like Jimmy Garoppolo. I remember picking him in the second round. It's a good pick. Chargers have Titans, Bengals, Ravens, Falcons, Chiefs, Bucks, Broncos, Patriots. You know, it's really close because the weaponry is, I mean, the Rams got a slight edge, but you know, Stafford's also 10 years older. Rams have Dolphins, Patriots, Eagles, Saints, Bills, Niners, Jets. Yeah, I'm going Herbert. I'm going Herbert because weeks 14, 15, and 16 could be a problem for Matty Stafford against Buffalo, San Fran, and at the Giants, in New Jersey on December 22nd, and also at San Fran. Yeah, I'm going to go Herbert there.
Yeah, I agree. Will wants to know, hey, Johnny, Georgia and Tommy T need one wide receiver and a half-point PPR. Harrison, Downs, Hopkins. Thank you.
Just one of just those?
One of those three.
I got to go Downs here.
Interesting.
I really do. Let's see where our projections have it. I mean, D-Hop he's kind of hard to sit, I guess, at this point, but I bet you we have Downs higher. So it was D-Hop. Yep. Hold on. Yep. Yeah. We have Downs at 14. It was D-Hop and who else?
Marvin Harrison.
I mean, it seems ridiculous, but I mean, Marvin Harrison is freaking boomer, bust, feaster. I mean, Josh Downs looked freaking great on some plays. Like, he looks ridiculous.
His usage was weird this last week. They gave Joe Flacco the start, and then they were like, all right, we're going to dial back Josh Downs now. Why? And that offense looked terrible. Idiots. So, we cannot ever try to predict what we might think is rational or irrational coaching.
I lost a prop on him. I mean, I was in on it on Friday on the television show. That was winner. And then by the time I got my pick up here on the site, it freaking got bet up to 62 and I lost it by like 2 yards. All my losses are basically bad baits at this point. That's what's happening. Whether it's an injury or like 3 freaking yards. What else we got?
That's how you know it's week 10 of the fantasy season, Guru.
That's true.
And Andrew says with the $4.99 super chat, morning fellas, I got offered Gibbs plus Cup plus Tracy for Nico Collins and Kareem Hunt in a full PPR. He says, I do have Lamb, but I'm worried about his production.
I'm doing that deal.
I'm doing that deal as well. I think Cup and Lamb are gonna, or Cup and Nico are gonna be close enough. And then you're upgrading Gibbs plus Tracy for Kareem Hunt, who might lose his job in a couple weeks. That's a smash trade, in my opinion.
It is. It really is. Because Gibbs is so good. I mean, oh my God, is he good? He is absolutely ridiculous. ridiculous. He's very Alvin Kamara like,
Mm-hmm.
with more big run potential almost. Honestly, Kamara was never, I don't think, a great 40-yard dash guy, right?
No.
Like unbelievable. And Nico, I mean, I've been saying for 3 weeks to trade for him just because obviously his value and perception of him and all that is going to potentially rise significantly once he returns because he's a freaking alpha and all that. But their old line is a freaking mess. So, I mean, it might be a moot point. I mean, Stroud may not freaking make it out of the season in one piece, how bad their old line is.
Yep. I don't disagree with anything. Mark says, Morning Guru, PPR League needs to sit one of these. Mooney, Flowers, Pickens, Skinny, Batman, or Shakir.
Oof.
You need more flex spots is what you need.
Yeah.
This is a very well done roster. This is insane.
Mooney, Flowers, Pickens, Skinny, Batman, Shakir. I can't. You can't. I don't think I can sit Mooney. I mean, it's like he's 12th in scoring right now. Mooney is.
Yeah, he's smashing
And
in that offense.
The Saints just you're not sitting Mooney. They just traded away Marshawn Lattimore. Paulson Adebo is on IR. So let's do it this way. Let's just process of elimination. Now, Flowers is tempting because that could be a boomer bust. I'm sitting Flowers. I'm sitting Flowers. I've made my decision.
Okay.
I'm sitting Flowers because he. Let's take a look. I guarantee. Right, we all know this. A little. Like there's Flowers games and non-Flowers games almost in
it's
some
a
ways.
Thursday night. It's AFC North.
Yeah.
Granted, this game could shoot out. This could be a 60-point total.
That's true. That is very true. Let's take a look here real quick. Against Tampa, 1 for 11. Against Buffalo, 1 for 10. Those are zone heavy. Cleveland he crushed. They play man. DC he crushed. They play man. Raiders, I don't think they do, but they're the Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
Now, again, he did crush Cincinnati already, like I just stated here, 7 for 11. But you do, man, that's a tough one. It's either Flowers or Shakir. Let's say it this way: Shakir's safer. But if you just give me 11.8 points, just I'll be happy with that in this spot. Then go Shakir. But if you feel like you need a little bit more juice, obviously Zay Flowers is obviously perfectly fine. But again, to my point, I mean, Flowers has gone off in 4 of his last 5, but the one game he didn't, he killed you.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. Like Shakir's not going to do that. Zay Flowers in 3 weeks ago against Tampa got 2.1 points. Like Shakir's not doing that.
Yeah, there's no in between with Zay Flowers. That doesn't exist.
Pretty much. Yeah. The game against Dallas, 3 for 20, by the way. So he's had 3 really bad games. Shakir has he had one really bad game? Maybe one.
Mm-hmm. Maybe the 9 for 30 game from Josh Allen earlier this year. Steve Lindor says,
right.
PPR league looking to trade for a running back. Here we go. Because Pacheco, he says he has Hunt, but feels like Pacheco coming back will crush his usage. Looking to trade a running back. Would you trade Harrison for Tracy? My other wide receivers are Pickens, Mooney, Jennings.
Yeah, I mean it's a little bit of a leap of faith.
Agreed.
Yeah,
this is a little much for me.
Much. Yeah, and you are the Tracy person, so that's
right.
A good sign.
Well, look, he got his roll and he scored under 10 fantasy points. That's just the offense. He's got Carolina, so that should be a smash matchup for him. But he got the lead role, and he still didn't score 10 PPR points. So,
right.
You know, he also has some bust.
Right. Yeah. Would you trade Mooney for Tracy?
Yeah.
The funny thing is Mooney's gonna outproduce Marvin Harrison this year. That's the funny thing.
Yeah. For me, it's the second half wide receiver breakout boom. Like,
yeah, okay.
He's a round 1 redraft pick under the expectations that he'll blow up towards the back end of the year, because that's what we expect with rookies. And they have started to use him on those vertical breaking routes that are so money. They did increase his crossing route usage. Kyler just had an odd game last week.
Right.
He did. He missed Trey McBride, who was wide open by 30 yards in the end zone because he just decided to bail out of the pocket for no reason.
That's what he does.
That is what he does. But if you're going to tell me that they're going to increase the routes that Marvin Harrison dominates on that team for the back half of the year, I think the breakout could come. I'm willing to bet on that. I just think there's cheaper options out there.
Yeah. What is next on the docket?
Russell says that he's a good lad.
Yes, he is.
Guru, may we hear your Tracy Morgan impression again? Mark says it's very underrated.
I'm Tracy Morgan. There you go.
Lightning Lord says, good morning, full PPR. McLaurin or Shakir?
Ooh. Shakira? No.
I'd take Shakira.
I saw a photo of Shakira when she was like 18, 19 years old on the interweb recently. I'm like, wow, it looks like a completely different person. Very enjoyable to gander upon, if you will. But I'm going Shakir.
I would go Shakir here as well. Two catches, 2 touchdowns for Terry McLaurin last week. Noah Brown is taking the snap share and the target share, just not scoring. Think it's interesting. McLaurin was a must sell for me once he started to produce heavily. I wrote him up in the dynasty column to wait for the big games and move him away. I'm liking the direction of that. Yes, he's going to score some points, but able to move him for a first and a little snack on top. I'm doing that every single time.
I got absolutely mauled in a trade in a league with all listeners to the Sirius show. We did a startup draft in 2019, and I took McLaurin and freaking Kittle. And about 3 years ago, I was dying at running back. Kittle was freaking hurt a lot. I traded those two for freaking Miles Sanders and freaking Mark Andrews.
Oh, no.
Absolutely mauled. I got mauled on that freaking trade there. But that was because I was dying at running back. Dying. And Sanders was good that year. He actually produced for me. That was going into the breakout year, if you can believe it. And now he's dead.
He was a round 2 startup pick around that time. And boy, let me tell you, happy I didn't, or round 4, sorry. And I didn't fall into the trap, but I watched a lot of my close friends do it, and it was rough. Dan Case,
you know who killed me that year?
Was that?
You know who killed me real quick? Kerryon Johnson.
Oh yeah, I actually had forgotten about him. Yeah,
I thought he was. I thought he had it. I thought he was looking good. He probably was, but he's freaking hurt all the time. But oh man, brutal. Anyway.
Yeah, 100%.
What else?
Dan wants to know, good morning. How would you rank these quarterbacks for the week? Wilson, Tua, Goff, Lawrence, Williams.
Wilson. I mean, Tua, Goff. It's not Goff. I mean, we should all just can we remove Goff from the fantasy player pool so we don't have to project him anymore.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to project Jared Goff anymore because he'll throw for $160 and then next week throw for, he could throw for 340 at any time. Like
he's
not Goff.
13. He's a safe 13 points. That's that's anything outside of that for expectations is on you.
I'm going Tua here.
Agreed.
Let's see who we have higher. Let's take a look. Lawrence, you can't use Lawrence. I mean, he was all right last week, but that was running. Bop.
And they just brought CJ Beathard up because he's banged up.
CJ beat hard. That's how you remember how to spell his name. Just beat hard. Bop. Let's see here. Wow, we got Darnold pretty high. I totally agree with that. Danny Dimes at 10. Yeah, kind of. Wow, he's got Lawrence and Caleb. Who else we dealing with here? Oh, wow, he didn't have two of that high at all. I don't know about that one. Jeez, see, these are so damn close.
I want the upside. Like, you want the most upside possible? I would go Tua. Russell Wilson might be number 2 here. He might be number 2 here.
Yeah.
What a crazy thing to say in 2024.
Yeah, but there's just something about someone being due. I know I make fun of it and I kind of have fun with it, but there's definitely something there. Like right now, Tua is just kind of bubbling. He did have a pretty good game last week, right? But no one's sitting there thinking, if he was that good last week, this wouldn't be a question. It's kind of like D-Hop last week. You got your feet wet a little bit the week before. They're dying. They need touchdowns. They need guys to get the damn ball in the end zone. And it's like you could just kind of feel it, like it's happening. And that's kind of where Tua is right now. I mean, he completed 89% of his passes last week. Didn't go off, 231/2. So no one's thinking anything like, oh my God. But that was a foundational week for him. He completed 25 of 28, for God's sakes. 8.3 yards an attempt as well. So, I think Tua, we're evolving, manifesting, if you will, back to prominence potentially. And it's I have no problem with the matchup against the Rams.
Yeah, he needs it. The team needs it to pop off this week.
Yeah.
Emilio wants to know Cooks, Gibbs, Tracy, or Harris can start 3. Debo, Mooney, Wilson can start 2 in a flex of the RBs or wide receivers.
Yeah. I mean, Najee is just so hard because you're like, I want to back him hard. And, certainly I've been saying that, we all know what they want to freaking run the rock a ton here. But, he is like sometimes Mr. Empty Calories. Like if he doesn't score, now it's like, now what? Oh, great. He ran for 69 yards and he caught 1 ball for 7. Great. I got 9 points here. Well, Gibbs is in. I would lean to Cooks being in, of course, because Ray Davis not getting a ton of snaps here. I mean, a great catch and all that last week, but it's still Cook, Debo and Mooney. So now we're down to Harris or Tracy against Wilson. I'm gonna go Wilson.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go Wilson there.
Got to play. If that's Garrett Wilson, you got to play him every week.
You got to play. You got to play him.
Got to play him.
Let's do it.
Fatty McFat says, "Happy Wednesday, Guru." Justin, hey Playboy, love on bye. So stream Darnold, Stafford, Danny Dimes, or Russ Wilson.
Yeah, I'm going Darnold.
Good pick.
He's doing fine. Jacksonville, they're ripe for the picking. They're not stopping Jefferson. They're just not. So, yeah, I like slinging Sammy here, completing 70% of his passes over the last 4 weeks with a pretty nifty 8.3 YPA. They're giving up mad production as well. They stink, giving up 2.3 touchdown passes a game in the last 4, 8.4 yards an attempt, 72.6% completion rate they're giving up in their last 4. Yeah, it's Sammy Darnold, a.k.a. the big-headed one.
Ethan Batterman, good morning. 1 and a half point PPR, Coker, Macmillan, Bigsby, Parker Washington or Tajay Spears?
A little early in the week for that.
Agreed.
Coker. Something about that name, Coker.
It's funny, man.
It is funny. But who you rolling with this week? Oh, I got a Coker. Great.
The Coke heads, as his fans are calling themselves.
Right. Oh, are they calling themselves that?
Yeah. That is their moniker, apparently.
Yeah, not a Coke guy. I want to go McMillan, but we don't. I don't know if he's going to play. I still like McMillan. I don't care what anyone says. I think he's good. I like McMillan. Will he play? I don't know. But let's see here. Let me see if we have anything otherwise lining up here. This is a low end question. These low end questions are pretty hard to get to here. The Niners, yeah. I mean, you can throw on them. Yeah, I like McMillan there. If he goes, I like McMillan.
Agreed.
They'll throw a lot.
He needs 3 here. Hunt, James Cook, Chase Brown, Shakir, or Ridley in a PPR.
Hunt. All right. Let's take a look here. Who the hell is Ridley playing? Let's take a look. Ridley is getting the ball. I mean, he really is. Chargers. Yeah, that's not great.
This leads into the next question, actually. But if it's not Will Levis, I'm playing Calvin Ridley.
Yeah. But you could just go with the backs.
You could here.
I'm going with the
Ray
backs.
Davis scares me with James Cook. So I would actually probably lean more Hunt, Chase Brown, Shakir. James Cook, I mean, Ray Davis is just good.
Oh yeah. But Cook's fine. I mean, we're not really worried about Cook. Let's take a look at what he's getting here. Is he getting at least 3 targets a game, let's say, in his last 4? Because it's close. Because if he is, he's not getting much more than that. I'm going to guess he's getting 2.9 right now. No idea, honestly. 3. Damn, I'm good. 2.5. 3.0 was only 0.1 off there. So yeah, he's getting a 2.5 a game in the last 4. That's always what I look at, the last 4. That's what NFL teams do when they're preparing for an opponent. They don't just look at last week, and they don't look at 9 weeks ago. They look at the last 4. I was conditioned to do that 25 years ago. So in the last 4, he's still getting 17.5 opportunities a game. He's averaging 4.6 yards a carry. He's getting 2.5 grabs a game. That's not bad. 16.8 points a game. It's a little touchdown dependent. So let's take away the touchdown.
He is on the good game, bad game, good game, bad game, good game streak right now for James Cook. So if you believe in that, the good game's coming.
So if you take away his touchdowns, he's getting you 10 points a game. That's all right. I mean, that's not wonderful, but that's not bad. That's always my minimum criteria. Like, can you get me freaking 10? So yeah, he can get you 10 with the upside to get you 25. So I'm going to go Cook there. I'm going to go with all 3 running backs. Why do we need to mess with Mason Rudolph and Ridley? That's more like, all right, I got nowhere to go here. All right, well, at least Ridley's getting freaking 14 targets a game.
Yeah, I need him, which is more a statement of my dynasty rosters than it is anything else. Speaking of 14 career starts, have you seen enough of Will Levis to think he is the guy, or would he ever be the guy?
Yeah, he stinks.
He does stink.
I've seen enough. Yeah, he's terrible. Physically gifted guy, but when you're this bad this early, you might get better. But you know what he'll be? At the best, he'll be a freaking Geno Smith. He'll toil for 7 years, and in 1 year, he'll wake up and everything will make sense to him when he's 32 or something, and he'll probably have a good year where he plays well for 10 games. Yeah, no, he stinks. I said that from the beginning.
Yeah, he's out. Definitely out. Andrew, for his previous question, would like to know: would you try to do Lamb instead of Nico? So would you trade away Lamb or would you trade away Nico to get Cup, Gibbs, and Tracy?
Probably either.
Either. Yeah, they're about the same.
Yeah.
Who do you feel better about is the question.
I mean, if you would have asked me a week ago, I definitely would have said Nico. But that was another poor effort by their O-line. How many sacks did they get last week? I don't know what is going on because they last year had all kinds of injuries, yet the O-line was hanging in there. Like, it just goes to show like how much more difficult year 2 can be for a quarterback after you ball out year 1. Like, now we got tape on your ass. Now we're studying the entire offseason on how to stop you. They seemingly did find some sort of cheat code there. Let's see. I mean, yeah. CJ Stroud has been sacked for the most yards in football. In football. Yeah. 229 yards. He's been sacked 30 times. That's a lot. That's really bad.
When he gets the Nico matchup or gets Nico back, though, he does
that'll help
to ball out. Yeah. So I'm more interested in keeping Nico here personally. But I mean, again, like you said, either way, I think you're looking pretty good. Dad Hats.
By the way, one other thought, real quick. One other thought. Like, we still don't know if Nico is good to go.
Right. That's
that's part of it.
Yep.
We don't know. I think I'd rather have Lamb.
Okay.
I think I'd rather have Lamb.
Those nasty hamstrings can be a real pain.
Absolutely.
I mean, I feel mine every single day. Dad Hat says Downs or Skinny B in a 0.5 point PPR.
I mean, I gotta go Downs on that one. I know it's a little scary. I love Skinny B like a son, but Downs, that matchup, he looks so good. I mean, it's unbelievable. And Buffalo, they funnel it inside. Like, it's happening. Like, Downs is getting 7 catches for like 80 plus. Like, that is happening. I am completely convinced of it. So
I'm gonna go put him into some lineups after you've said that. Now he's on my bench in a couple. I'm gonna correct that and I'm gonna put him in. Armando wants to know.
So freaking good. Yeah,
he is. He's unreal. He says drop Parker Washington for Quentin Johnston, and he says should I drop Vidal for Estime or Herbert?
Oh yeah, I would drop Vidal for like Estime.
Yeah,
I
agreed.
I think it's only a matter of time there. Parker Washington and Quentin Johnston, they're really two completely different types of assets here. Like, Parker Washington is like me in that 14 teamer where I had Kirk. I'm like, well, there's absolute skank on the waiver wire. Can this dude give me 10 points? I think he can. It's close. He was right there this week, right? Real close. Quentin Johnston, as we've noted, I saw Ryan, I believe it was Ryan Heath's tweet about, like, and I've seen the plays live happen. Broken plays, busted coverages, right? He's getting like half of his production on busted coverage.
Yeah.
But,
he leads the league.
He is still physically imposing and talented. He's big. He can run. Leaping ability. There's something to be said for just raw ability. You compare that to volume, let's say. But Parker, will he get volume? He got 7.1 points last week. So, if 7 to 10 points is going to be enough for you every week, then Parker is probably like the safe, steady, boring pick. If you want a little bit more juice, then it's probably Quentin Johnston. I mean, they're just two different type of players. Like, who has the better chance to goose egg your ass? I believe that would be Quentin Johnston, but he has a 100% better chance to get freaking 30 fantasy points than Parker Washington. Like, Parker Washington has 0% chance of that, or 0.01, and Quentin Johnston maybe 10%.
Yeah, and I mean, you want the guy that can accidentally score. And I don't know if Parker Washington's doing that when you look at it that way. Also want to point out from that same tweet you mentioned with Ryan Heath, Jaden Reed is a little fraudulent. I've been saying it. He's a sub 18% target share player who is the second most points scored on broken coverage. I'm just saying he's a little fraudulent, and the Debo stuff is it's a little. I'm not there. I get a lot of hate over that, but he's a little fraudulent. Brent Bowen wants to know Odunze or Pop Douglas.
Let's take a look there. Pop goes the weasel. Pop is starting to I'm not getting a warm and fuzzy feeling there about Pop. And his matchup there inside, let's take a look at that. It's not great. So I'm going to go with Odunze. I'm going to try it Odunze because Pop will see Gordon. He's been pretty good. He doesn't get targeted a lot inside. And this Bears zone may give May some problems where he's freaking running all over the place. So let's go with not Pop.
I like that one, not Pop. Juan wants to know Laporta or Gesicki.
Again, Laporta, he's good. The offense is good. He should be good, but he's not because they freaking just don't throw the ball. So I can't back Laporta.
No.
I'm going with Gesicki. Gesicki will easily get 40 yards in this game. Getting 40 yards out of Laporta is like, that takes 3 games now to get 40 freaking yards out of Laporta.
It is pulling teeth to get this man more than one catch in a game.
It's ridiculous.
It is a little wild.
I was not in on Laporta all year. I'm like, this is a joke. Like, are you really taking this guy in the 3rd round? But geez, I thought a month ago, like, all right, I'm like in that movie Trading Places. You just wait and you wait. Like, all right, now I'm ready to buy. And it started happening a little bit. He made that big play against Dallas, but again, he just gets crushed by a lack of volume.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good for Laporta bag holders currently. It is a very down bad situation.
In some of these situations now, you're like, what do we do? Like, how about we raise our hands and say we're screwed? That's what we do.
Yeah, you just kind of got to eat that one right now, and it doesn't taste very good. Okay, we are at the 11:20. Do you want to hit a couple more and get out of here?
Yeah, let's bang out a couple more.
All right,
give the people what they want.
We've got Daniels or Purdy.
Ooh.
Yeah, had that one teed up.
Yeah, Daniels or Purdy. Well, let me see what Chris has real quick. We'll start there. I'm sure he's got Daniels higher. Oh, no. Yeah, I'm going Purdy. That was my inclination. It's hard to bench Daniels because Mr. pretty much pencil him in for 50 yards rushing, right? But I'm going to go Purdy there. Coming off the bye, I think Debo will be healthier, obviously. Juwan Jennings, obviously. And, Daniels didn't get to 50 yards. Oh, alert the media. Only 35 last week. But, yeah, I'm still going to go with Purdy.
Okay.
Not like Daniels is racking up the tutties over here, by the way.
It's true.
He's got 9 tutties. He's on pace to throw 17 touchdown passes. That's unspectacular.
And in the MVP race, if you look at the average media, I mean, so is Goff, and we've already talked about his production. So I don't know. Maybe Lamar last year set a new precedent. I don't know. Josh wants to know, is Mandrews or Gesicki in a 0.5 PPR? Got the Thursday night special here, John.
Yeah, no, I mean, Mandrews. I think I'm going Mandrews.
Okay, half point.
The
You're going to go
Bengals
Andrews?
generally. Yeah, I mean, we're needing a touchdown, but this has been a good matchup. The Bengals in their last 4, for example, are giving up 7 catches a game to the freaking tight end position. That's a lot. 70 yards, a couple of tutties. I mean, they're giving up 17 points a game here. Mandrews, though, I mean, he's not getting a lot of targets, but he is making them count. 3.5 catches a game with a touchdown a game on average.
Yeah, he looks good too. He looks good again. He looked explosive off the line, hit a double move to the outside, and was open by a considerable amount of ass, I would say. His ass is looking as good as ever. So Andrews, I mean, if they do shut down Flowers, like you said, you'd bench him in that scenario. Andrews becomes the second target. So I like how we can just kind of correlate a couple of questions here. We keep it consistent on Hump Day. All right. Let's not forget.
Yeah.
Joe Gibson.
Sure we do.
Joe Gibson says Burrow or Daniels this week. And he also has another question here after.
Man, that's tight. I mean, Baltimore is
this is easy for
right
me
for the picking. I'm going I'm going Burrow.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is easy Burrow for me. He's throwing another 5 touchdowns this weekend. That Baltimore defense can't cover the grass they're standing on. It is really bad. And yes, but they didn't. It wasn't too bad against Bo Nix was the reason for that. And so was Sean Payton. Did you hear what Sean Payton said? That we're gonna run the ball versus this defense and try to keep the ball away from Lamar. It's just like, brother, you attacked the wrong part of the defense, my friend. Bad game plan by a generally really good coach. He also needs one in the PPR.
Let's remember.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say he also needs one in a PPR. Marvin Harrison Jr., Brian Robinson, or Shakir off of his waivers. First off, Shakir should not be on your waivers.
Yeah, really.
Pick him up. There's got to be someone you can drop.
Yeah. Shakir. We love Shakir like a son. Yeah. You guys awesome.
I would be playing Shakir in this for sure, 100%.
Where's Shakir right now? I'm going to guess in points per game. I'll guess wide receiver 26. That's my. Let's take a look. I don't know if people enjoy this little exercise, but I'm waiting to get one like very wrong. Wide receiver 26. Do you have a guess?
Thomas? I'm gonna say Khalil Shakir is wide receiver 19.
Ooh, wow! And we're talking points per game, right?
Yes.
Okay. Let's take a look.
The reason is the receiver position is so weird that JSN has finished inside of the top 24 twice, and he's the wide receiver 13.
Well, looks like
weird.
You got it by 1. What did I say? 26. He's 24. Or no. I said 26. He's 22. Oh wait. That's in total points. Hold everything.
Okay.
Oh, let's take a look. He is actually wide receiver 30 in points per game.
Oh, wow.
There you go.
I was way higher.
Yeah. Not a lot of tutties.
Yeah, it does come down to that, doesn't it? He just seems to.
You're
right. He's got a lot of targets, but yeah, you're right. Comes down to touchdowns. Yeah. It is a weird year.
I think I did say. It is weird. I think I did say this summer that I thought he might catch 80 balls. People are like, what?
Mm-hmm.
Right now he's on pace to catch 84 balls. I mean, that's crazy.
Pretty bang on. Michael wants to know Downs or Pickens this week in a half-point PPR.
Ooh. Yeah, half point does change it a little bit. I do love Downs. George, of course, they added another body there, right? In Pittsburgh. Damn. Yeah, I'm going to go to our projections there on that one. Down. See, that's one where I got to like think about it like all week if it were me. if it were me, like in a big matchup, I'd be thinking about every single possible scenario there. But let me see, because the Commanders D is really good right now, but they're, yeah, I think I go downs. Just on the chance that Lattimore slows them down. I mean, I'm not like I'm worried about Mike Williams or anything. Like, yeah, I think I'm going to go downs.
Okay. We got
Lattimore's nasty. I mean, he's nasty.
Yep, 100%.
One more.
He's also got a hamstring he's coming off of, but that might be it's a New Orleans Saints hamstring. It may not be it might be a Devontae Adams type hamstring. We got 2 super chats we can close off here with Nick B wants to know trade offer Reek Jacobs for Debo Stevenson.
Which side is Nick on?
He doesn't let us know. He's just Reek Jacobs for Debo Stevenson.
I like the Reek side.
Easily, in my opinion. Also, shout out for the $2 Canadian.
Yeah, thanks.
Whoa. Shout out.
What's that,
Canada,
like a buck 20?
Probably
US?
about 75 cents. It's probably about 75 cents. But hey,
it matters. No.
It matters.
No, is it really? Is it that bad?
$1.99 would be probably like $1.15 or $1.25. I think.
I once took.
You think I would
don't
know
if you
that?
Remember
being a Canadian working for an American company.
You should. I once took my kids to Niagara Falls. We went to the Canadian side, and it was right after. Remember the SARS virus?
Yep.
There was a big scare in Canada, and I'm like, oh, it's time to buy. Let's go. And I got a 5-star hotel for $80 US. Yeah. And then, granted, this was like 20 years ago. But I had a 5-star hotel overlooking the falls for like $80.
Yeah.
I was like, damn.
Yep. You made the right call. Mark Farmer, he has another super chat here for $1.99, a 1-point PPR in US. Ferguson or Gesicki if T. Higgins is out?
Yeah, I mean, if you feel like I need a blow-up game or else I'm effed, okay, then I'll go Gesicki if T. Higgins is out. Otherwise, Ferguson is catching 5. Granted, for 44, but, I think he's a safer bet to approach double-digit points. I mean, he does have a good history in the matchup. They are giving up 5+ catches a game for like 50. So there's your baseline, basically. But he's actually, in his last 2 games, averaged 6 catches for 81 with a touch. So he's averaging 17 points a game in his last 2 against Philly. So I think if it's the young quarterback or Cooper Rush, he's going to be looking for Ferguson. So, yeah, I'm going to go Ferguson there, unless I needed big-time upside, because he didn't have that. But Gesicki does.
Right.
That's it.
All right. I think that does it. If you want to take us out, Guru.
This has been another edition of Hump Day with Hansen. I'm Hansen. We thank Tommy T, and I'll back to the film room, the data mining as we continue to prepare for week number 10, because week 9, I thought it was a good week of analysis. I mean, you go back and read my Hansen's Hints column that drops every Sunday. I thought it was pretty good, but the damn props, man, not great there. I got hosed left and right, losing a couple, but that usually means a big week is forthcoming. I thought it was happening last week. It didn't, but I think the analysis is still pretty good. So read that column, because it takes me about 39 hours a week to write and compile, and it's a major endeavor. I wish I could get up a little earlier. Maybe I will now, but it'll be up on Saturday evening, let's say 10 p.m. It could be better, but it could be worse, because I used to post that thing at like 11 a.m., honestly. So we'll wrap it up here. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time here at whatever the hell this is, Hump Day with Hansen, here on FantasyPoints.com. What? Why are you shaking your head?
You're welcome.